we are going to be joined now by Coach Moffett. Coach, how are you?
I'm great. Great to be here. This
Good.
is awesome. Yeah, this is cool.
Thanks so much for one, inviting us out. You heard us talking about Mallory, first time here in Fredericksburg, so we got to show her a good time.
Yeah,
seriously.
It's a great time for sure. It's a great place to be. The Hill Country's beautiful. It's God's country for sure.
Absolutely. So you're the clinic director here. Mm-hmm. You're the guy that puts all this together. How long have you been doing the directing for this clinic?
So this was our ninth annual Hill Country Clinic. We started 2014 maybe. I'm not sure on the math on that, but I was at the time the athletic director and head football coach in Fredericksburg. Zane Bodie, Clay Bodie, and Alan Hare were clinic directors of the best little clinic in Texas. It was a clinic designed for, at that time, 4A and below schools. A lot of the big clinics in the big cities were for 5A and 6A schools, and those clinics didn't really cater to the dynamic of 2A, 3A football where, everybody plays every sport and everybody plays every position and everybody plays every special teams and all that. So they had the brainstorm of a clinic just for smaller classifications. And they asked us to come speak in 2013 after we had just won the district title here in Fredericksburg. And it was the first district title in about 20 years and had a good year, had a good run of kids. And so we went and spoke at their clinic. And, I really wanted to have PD for my coaches here in Fredericksburg. Mm-hmm. We were a Chapter 41 school, and so we give a lot of money away, so we didn't do a whole lot of travel with our staff. And we weren't able to, go to the DFW clinic, go to the Lone Star Clinic, and all those kind of things. So I really wanted to bring a clinic to Fredericksburg. And so I just got talking to Clay and Zane and Alan after we spoke. And that year at coaching school, we shook hands, in a hotel and partnered up on the Hill Country Clinic. And so from there, I was in charge of all the local stuff, because I lived here, and Clay and Zane and Alan were in charge of all the rest of the stuff because they knew how to run a clinic. And so we partnered up together and started off kind of meager the first year. There weren't, a whole lot of people here or whatever. And so, last year we went over 300 participants. I think this year we had just over 200 pre-registrations that we had never had that many before pre-registered. So, and we got a full house. We've had two, Coach Boykin and Coach Sanders, Coach Boykin just started from San Antonio Stevens, and Coach Sanders just finished his talk from Vandergrift, and there's 75 to 85 coaches in the room, so we're off to a good start for sure.
That's awesome.
And the other part of it is the wife situation. Mm-hmm. Fredericksburg obviously is a tourist town, very attractive to ladies for wine tours and all the things that there are to do here. And so prior to that, I had started involving my wife in coaching school and the AFCA convention and all of that stuff, which was something that, as an assistant coach, I didn't really do that as much. When I became a head coach, started involving her in the deal, and it was great. It was a great partnership. It really, strengthened our marriage and all of that stuff. And because it's hard being a coach's wife and, all the things you go through and sitting in the stands and all of that. But we just decided we wanted to do something to celebrate our wives. And we also partnered with FCA and Coaches Outreach, which are two associations that, cater to coaches and their spirit and their heart. And so we were able to tomorrow morning we'll do a couples devotional for coaches and their wives to start the day, led by Coaches Outreach and FCA. So that's kind of the deal. And tonight we'll have a big social where we'll try to, that's kind of my job, is to get local donations. We get wine tours and bottles of wine and all kinds of local fare. All the restaurants donate gift cards and that kind of thing. So we'll try to let all the wives walk out of the social with some kind of gift tonight. So,
that is great. Love cool. That. Well, and that's the cool thing too. Yeah. I mean, like I said, I grew up around here. I know how much the communities want to give back to stuff like this, and you're helping them out. You're bringing in tons of people to be able to experience this, and like Mallory said, experiencing this for the first time. I mean, that's something special.
It's real special, and I learned that as the AD in Fredericksburg, the community is so giving of everything, and they really want to give to the schools and the things that go on at the schools and athletics and all the different extracurriculars. And so it was real easy transition for me. I had a network of connections, people I knew already from coaching their kids or whatever we did. And so it was just real easy to go, make that ask. We'd already made that ask, from a booster club perspective, or, we put in a video scoreboard in the stadium, and so we had sponsors for that. And so it was real easy to just make that connection, and we've continued it. We have some sponsors that have been, a donor or a sponsor for the whole 9 years.
That's awesome.
And so, it's just a great way to give back, and they love that our coaches come. And I always tell them when I ask them to hey, I'm back again, you want to donate or whatever. But I remind them that we want our coaches and their wives or our coaches to get in their establishments when they're here for the weekend. And a lot of things they'll give will be, valid for a whole year.
Oh, wow.
And so based on a coach's schedule, a lot of times you get some time off in the summer or time off on holidays and stuff. So we hope that they'll come back to Fredericksburg later, at a later date and be able to use whatever they
That is really smart. Now, you said you're expecting about 300 coaches, right, to be here? You got 200 pre-signed up and 3. I'm curious, how many wives do you think are going to be here?
So I want to go out on a limb and say last year we had about 75 wives. Of our 300 participants last year, I think we figured we had about 75 wives and 225 coaches.
Wow.
So that was last year, so we're basing off of that. So we're hoping, I think Diane will speak to this, but I think they have 80 wives' bags set up for the expectation of the wives, so we'll see how that goes.
That is awesome.
So,
so you mentioned it earlier when you talked about how this clinic originally kind of started in the way of focusing on a little bit of smaller schools and stuff like that. But when I've always been curious when you're going to book the coaches that speak, because obviously there's college coaches that come in, that's invaluable, and then but there's also high school coaches. What are you looking for when you're setting up the lineup of speakers? Yeah,
so that's interesting. I learned that through this process because I'd never done it, right? And Zane and Clay and Alan were the ones that had done it prior to that. But really, it's about networking. I mean, you guys know that in our business. I'm on the board of directors for THSCA. I'm the freshman director for Region 8, and so I've got 24 other directors that I get to meet with twice a year, plus the association, Joe Martin and Glenn West and Libby Pacheco and Brian Polk and those guys. And so there's a connection to coaches all around the state. And we'll start. Clay and Zane and Alan and I will start making a list tomorrow of next year's speakers, right?
Yeah.
Of who we like this list. We started formulating it last year on the Saturday of the clinic. So, and then it's just about who knows this guy or who knows that guy and that kind of thing. Where you've coached, how the college coaches have been very generous in regard to that too. And typically that's somebody knows somebody who knows somebody. But yeah, we want to get Coach Sanders. Prime example, Vandergrift, they just played in the state finals. So everybody wants to hear him speak, right? And so that's who you want to have. You want to have those guys who have had success recently, for sure, and then you want to have guys who've had success over a period of time as well. So we try to mix that up, and we sometimes they'll tell us no because they're busy or they don't want to share or whatever. But that doesn't happen very often, especially when they find out they might get to bring their wife and get to enjoy a fun weekend in the Hill Country.
No doubt.
Yeah. Now let's talk about you for a little bit.
Sure.
Yeah. So you're just the second full-time athletic director of Hayes Consolidated ISD history, right?
That's correct. Well, I say that now. Bob Shelton was the head football coach and athletic director at Hayes High School for 47 years.
Okay.
When they opened Lehman High School around 2005, 2006, he remained on as the athletic director for the district, but that was a kind of a temporary deal. He retired, and then from then they kind of moved athletics under superintendent's position that covered fine arts and athletics. So yeah, you're right. Tom Westerberg was the first person to take that position, and then I'm number 2. So yeah, it's quite a deal. So
and how is that going? How's the switch been going? And I know you're super involved with that community over there. To be honest, I kind of stalked your Twitter a little bit, and I saw that you went
like the Lance Moffett encyclopedia.
I saw that you went to Fort Worth a couple weeks ago and watched the girls, your cheerleaders, perform for sure. In the UIL Spirit Championship. So how important is it for you to be involved in that kind of community?
That's the whole deal for the athletic director. Is you have to be visible. You have to add value to all the programs, right? And when you're willing to take your time to go do that, I learned that here in Fredericksburg. I can't deny that as the AD in a small community, you're kind of expected to be at everything, and you're not good at your job if you're not, right?
Right.
And so that the deal with cheer, you cheer. Some districts cheer is part of athletics, and some it's not, and so it just depends on.
Right.
I think that's going to evolve as the UIL begins to more involve them in more of athletic type situations, which is what the Spirit competition is about. And we fund that from an athletic perspective in our district. We fund their UIL Spirit. So, we pay for that whole competition for them. And so we wanted to go see them compete and see them get after it. But, yeah, we try to get to everything we can. It's an amazingly fast-growing district. We add about 3,500 new homes a year.
Wow,
that's
insane.
Last year we closed 2,700 of those 3,500 houses. So we're adding about 1,200 kids, which is a little bit bigger than an elementary school, or about the same size as an elementary school. So
it's a big job.
it's a big job, and it's having Hayes High School was there forever. All the tradition, all the history, all the things that were associated with that, and then Lehman High School has been there for 17 years, and now Buda Johnson just opened in 2019, I guess, and so they're cycling through their second senior class, and it's just a great place to be. I'm really excited about the future and what we have planned, moving forward. We're going to, high school number 4 is going to probably come on around 2027. We're looking at high school number 5. We're doing some really cool bond projects for athletics. We're hoping to pass a bond to get turf for our softball and baseball fields at all of our campuses.
Very nice.
We're hoping to put a pavilion, covered practice pavilion at all of our high schools for all our sports, baseball, softball, football, all those things. So, and we're doing a whole bunch of stuff with fine arts. So it's just it's a big job. It's different. I miss football for sure. I just told those guys when I introduced the clinic that it's different. We hosted 15 home football games, and if I wanted to yell at a referee, I'd go down there and yell at a referee. And then I'd go back up and eat a hot dog in a press box or whatever.
That's not the worst deal. I mean,
no, it's not too bad. You don't have to do all the stuff that happens after the game. So, but it's a transition for sure. We miss football, and that's why a lot of people ask, are you gonna keep doing the clinic? Are you gonna keep doing the clinic? And the answer to that's always going to be yes. We're always going to have. Fredericksburg is home. Both of my children graduated from Fredericksburg High School. They were both athletes here, and so it's always going to be home to some degree. We may not live here at some point, but it's always going to be home. So.
Well, he is Lance Moffett. Cool. He is a busy man, but Coach, man, we appreciate you having us out here, and I think you're kind of stuck with us now. So sorry.
Yeah. Well, we certainly hope you guys become the tradition of.
We'll be
clinic,
back.
So we appreciate it.
Well, we appreciate it absolutely.
Right,
so there he goes, Lance Moffett, the AD at Hayes ISD and the clinic director here at the Hill Country Coaching Clinic.